would you believe the first day that we went to Madeira was the most epic because we got 5 blue marlin from 400 to 900 pounds.
Wow.
In one. And then that week we got 8 fish for the week. Let me tell you how fishing works. The next trip that we went there, not one bite.
Wow.
And how did it start out? Like, what was the origin story?
Too much alcohol.
Really? Okay.
Says if God wanted us to have fiberglass boats, he would have given us fiberglass trees.
It's for fishermen. It's not for taking the wife and the wife's friends.
I think that it's a really, really pretty bit.
And then there was a blur that went by and ended up in the cockpit, as far as if I can remember correctly.
Hey everybody, State of Sport Fishing. It's just me today. Carula's getting ready for the Jimmy Johnson, so he's pre-fishing for that. So it's just me and Carey Chen.
Hey everybody, how you been?
Good, man.
You're in a good spot right there.
Yeah, if you don't know Carey,
here I am working.
Yeah,
see?
he's
Working.
angler, angler, artist, what have you. So, how are you, man?
So, I'm in Palm Beach here, and just got back in town here, and so you're headed for a tournament tomorrow, right?
No, Nick is my co-host is fishing in the Jimmy Johnson tomorrow. I'm just here working, keeping the boat I work on floating.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I saw Bill was in Kenya, right?
Kenya. Yep, he's in Kenya.
Bill is how related is Bill to you? What is he?
He's my uncle.
He's your uncle.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was your grandfather. I'm going to tell him that. Just kidding. Bill and I always tease each other. We are like, Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
I have a picture of him and me. You wouldn't even recognize us. Well, you won't recognize Bill. He's like skinny like a stick. That's how long ago it was. Yeah. So go ahead and hit those questions.
Just tell me how you got in the interview or the industry, Carey. I mean, we know you as a marine artist, but you're a fisherman as well.
Yeah. Well, let me go back a little bit away where I'm from and everything, and people, look at me and say, "Well, you're Asian. What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm from Jamaica." That's why I got this funny accent, So what happened is we're 3 generations in Jamaica. I was born in California. So my mom was going to school there, had me there, dragged me back to Jamaica. So I actually grew up in Jamaica. So I don't know anything about anything else but island life. I'm an island boy,
Yeah.
So I grew up with all the jerk chicken, curry goat, all that stuff. You've eaten the Jamaican food before, right? Oh yeah. So anyway, spicy. So anyway, I grew up there, and when I was a teen, we moved to Florida, Miami. Started in Miami, and actually I was a motorcycle rider. I used to ride motorcycles. I don't know how I'm still alive. I used to race them, whatever, and I was a fisherman, and I started fishing, and I had a little sea craft in Miami. Started catching sailfish everywhere. Next thing you know, to hell with the motorcycles and cars, just got into fishing really hardcore. I wasn't even painting them. I wasn't even a painter. I didn't even know how to paint them. So, of course, grew up with Guy Harvey. He's from Jamaica also, and so we had video stores, and then one day I decided to dabble in paintings and say, let me try this. So I showed everybody and go, wow, I didn't know you were that good. So took it to Captain Harry's. You know Captain Harry's, right?
Yeah.
So took it to them, and Captain Harry said, that's the senior, Captain Harry Senior. He says, wow, that's great. Let's put that on our catalog. So they put it on the top of the catalog. It wasn't the best at that time. I was still learning stuff, but it got me out there. And then next thing you know, everybody was calling me, hey, come to my tournament, do this, come for the cover, everything. So I started out Cayman Islands. Cayman Islands was the first place I went to. And then Puerto Rico. So that did it for me. Puerto Rico had about 40 different countries there.
That's the San Juan tournament, the same one that's still going on?
Yeah, they had participants from all over the world.
Yeah.
So when they saw my art, they said, okay, you coming to visit me, you coming to visit me. Next thing you know, 30 places, right? So that's how it started, really. So this year, so I was doing 50 tournaments a year.
Wow.
Yeah, literally 50 tournaments, living out of a suitcase.
Are you, and
So-
you're doing the artwork for them and then you're painting or you're fishing in them too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the artwork for them. And basically they took care of accommodations and travel and everything. All I did was do the t-shirts, do the artwork for trophies, and fish all week. So I was pretty making a living off fishing, and I got to meet everybody from the Caribbean. I know once you're an island guy, everybody treats you like an island guy when you get there,
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah. And I got to catch, let's see, 96, I caught almost 100 blue marlin.
Oh, wow.
In 1 year. Just from, just going on all the boats,
Yeah.
So it started off with like Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Lucia, all the way down the chain, all the way to Venezuela. Then I started fishing in Venezuela. And back then, Venezuela was the best fishing in the world.
Me and Nick,
the country was unbelievable.
Tell us about Venezuela, because me and Nick always get stars in our eyes when we talk to people that have been to Venezuela and fished there a fair amount. I mean, it just sounds amazing. Sounds like a cool place on land too.
Yeah, you could do 2 slams in 1 day.
Yeah.
And you basically catch all species. It was a little bit rough and everything. And the place was really nice and gas was cheap. It was like 8 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I wish it was like that now. And it was just an awesome place, So I moved on from Venezuela, went up to Costa Rica. My ex-wife is Costa Rican, so she's a Tica. So I lived in Costa Rica for a little bit, and back then there was no marinas in Costa Rica, zero. Quepos was just like this pipe that you walk down.
Just the dock that's still there, right?
Yeah, there was no docks. And Tim Choate,
pier,
the legend, Tim Choate, had all his game fishing boats there, and it was the fish were huge there. Those sailfish were like almost 200 pounds, and you can see through the years that they get hammered, and now you're catching 45, 50 pound sailfish there.
Yeah.
So they don't get a chance to grow up. Those longliners kill them out,
Were there still longliners back then?
No, they realized that Costa Rica is bringing so much money from sport fishing that actually changed Costa Rica completely. It's amazing how, like places like Los Sueños, Quepos, sport fishing, it was one of the most friendliest places in Central America because they didn't have an army. All the other places had armies, and they focused on tourism and their people and everything. So that's probably why they became, on the top at first, with the sport fishing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then, after that, I decided to start painting, and I got better and better. The more you do, the better you get. And my name got out there, and I'll tell you what, nonstop traveling. I mean, it was just hectic as hell. 60 tournaments. Just think about 60 tournaments a year.
Yeah.
I lived out of a suitcase. But the people I met, people always ask me, where's your favorite place? I said, well, every place has its own favoritism, the people there, what you're talking about, friendships and everything, and I got to meet some of the most elite people, because when you're fishing in a tournament, it's a guy who owns a chicken place, the gasoline, the liquor business, all that stuff, and you get to meet those guys who just invite you every year. And it was the same thing every year, the same thing. I never really fished too much on the Pacific. It was mostly Atlantic. So, I never got to catch black marlin. I think I've over 500 blue marlin already. But you wouldn't believe it. I haven't caught a black marlin yet.
Really?
I've watched a whole bunch of them getting catched.
Yeah. So, when did you start doing the murals and stuff on the wall I mean, I've seen some of your murals in South Florida and stuff like that.
You know, the first one I did was on Captain Harry's wall, and you saw that one, right?
Yeah,
You're not that old, right?
I'm 34. Yeah, not that old.
Oh shoot! Okay, but anyway, I did a big giant mural on Captain Harry's wall, and then you know, at first it was like 30 feet long, you know, and I said to myself, how the heck am I gonna the perspective on that?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about grids, you know how you do grids to make it in perspective. I said, to hell with that. I just went on a bucket thing and controlled it and just sketched it out and kept going back and forth and looking at it and said, okay, no, that's right. Oh no, what I do is I do a chalk. I have a big chalk, like sketching with a pencil, really.
Yeah.
And if you go back and forth until the anatomy is perfect, you know. And the thing about being an artist and a fisherman is that you can tell when the size of the fish and what it look, the perspective of it. You know, you could be the best artist in the world if you're not a fisherman and you don't know the anatomy.
Yeah.
You're not painting fish, you know.
Yeah.
There's very few of us sport fishing artists.
Yeah.
Very, very few.
You started painting for these tournaments. Did you have any like formal training in painting, or did you just kind of just start it? Like, did you?
Well, you know, I painted so many paintings that I don't even have to look up at a picture anymore. It's in my head and I just draw it and it's there, it's done. I mean, most people that watch me do a mural, I don't even look at a picture. It's just everything is in my head, anatomy of all the fish, every scale. So after doing so many of them, it just sticks in my head, you know.
But there was no like, you didn't go to school or anything for just general.
No, it's all self-taught.
Picked it up and rolled with it. Wow.
Yeah. No, it's just like singing, you know. You know, if you're born with it, you're born with it. You know? To tell you the truth, if somebody didn't know how to paint, I said, I'm going to take lessons. It might not be a good painter after a while. You have to be born with it.
Yeah.
You really, you know, you have to have the skills for it. You know.
Do you have
and you do have to know about fishing. I
mean, absolutely. If you're
fish, I've seen the billfish that are lit up, the purples and stuff like that. You have to know where they're lit up, and that's the difference with a sport fishing artist. You know, there's a lot of wildlife artists that paint like tigers and lions and stuff like that. Why? Because there's so many pictures of them, right, on land. But how many pictures do you ever see really underwater, lit up, of a fish coming at you?
Yeah.
So that is right in my head. So because I've seen them, not that I jumped in the water, but I can picture exactly what they look like. You know?
Do you have any like memories of like maybe a bite or some like a fish on a teaser, or maybe a scene where you saw offshore and then you translated that right into a painting? Do you have one that like you could give us?
Oh yes, many times. I can remember in Venezuela, you know, you see all this commotion and you go over there and then there's a marlin chasing mahi going around in a circle, and the next thing you know, he's jumping out of the air and catching it in the air. So it sticks in my head. You know, a lot of people don't have that mirror image, and I got that, you know, and I can put that on a canvas easily.
Yeah, you got it. Is that like painting somewhere?
See this one right here?
Yeah.
That's going to the owner of Vineyard Vines.
Okay.
Clothing.
Cool. Yeah.
So that's sailfish in his house. It's a pretty big painting.
It looks big.
But look at that. It's got all the bait fish. That's the hardest part. Doing all that bait fish.
Yeah.
The eyes. It's pretty intense.
Is that painting that you were telling about when you did the one from the marlin eating the mahi? Is that anywhere? Like, can somebody find it, or is it somebody's house?
I've done many of those already, and I've seen so many of that. You know, it's very rare that you see that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've seen it probably a dozen times. You know, but the amount of fishing I did, I saw a lot. You know, there was so much blue marlin there that I did, and I actually was glued on blue marlin. You know?
Yeah.
my thing. I caught somebody. Tell you the truth, I'm kind of spoiled. After catching a couple thousand sailfish, you're kind of like, all right, next. You know? And but right now I'm so over the other stuff. Sorry, I'm spoiled. Not everybody the fish. But I'm going for granders now.
Gotcha.
That's my search. I'm going all over the world, and wherever there's the biggest fish in the world, I'm going there. So every year I go to Madeira, Portugal. You see my posts, right? So you could go a whole week and not see a fish. But when you do hook a fish, it's gonna be a big one.
Are they always big ones there? Like, because everybody talks about
one big fish.
Yeah, because everybody talks about Madeira and they say exactly like that like there's gonna be, you're gonna have to wait a long time for a bite and then it's gonna be a big one. Like, do they even have like small ones there? Or
Rarely. So what I kind of learned from going to all these little islands that are in the middle of nowhere, those big fish are the only ones that can travel that far. The small ones, it's too hard for them. It's like having a big fuel tank on you.
Yeah.
And that's why you do get a few small ones that make it, but you think about remote like Hawaii, Azores, Ascension Islands. You're talking about big fish.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they're big. They have got their food. They can go for a long time, and like with fuel, Food,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So is that your favorite place? Is Madeira your favorite place?
Yeah. First year I went there, my friend Frothy De Silva kept asking me to go. He said, go. And I kept saying, no, one day. And then I just decided to go. And ever since I went there, this is my 8th year in a row going there.
What's the island like there?
It is the most beautiful island you'll ever see in your life. It's got everything. Beautiful, clean, food, the best food, and the best part is the cheapest place.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And you're fishing right out of the marina. You're talking about a few hundred yards. I mean, I've caught two fish over 600 right in front of the marina.
Wow.
And not only that, it's like a lake. So you're on the leeward side. The mountain shoots up about 6,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have leeward side. On the front part is a little bit rough, but that side will always be, in summertime, will always be calm. So you're talking about old people fishing.
Yeah, what time of year? What time of year?
I did that when I was young. That's all I did. Kite fishing, 10, 12-foot seas, beating myself up, catching a couple thousand sailfish. I said, you know what? Enough of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go catch some big marlin and calm seas.
What time of year is your preferred time to go to Madeira?
Summertime, but I found out Azores is also really, really good. So I've been fishing with the Bad Company crew.
Okay.
They have the mothership that's going to go to the best places. So last year we had an epic trip.
We had Anthony and Captain Steve on a couple months before they left. We're really cool.
Oh, on the podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I went across with them, and would you believe the first day that we went to Madeira was the most epic. Of the trips, because we got 5 blue marlin from 400 to 900 pounds.
Wow.
In one. And then that week we got 8 fish for the week. But let me tell you how fishing works. The next trip that we went there, not one bite.
Wow.
That's how it is, So what is happening that I can see is that there's less bait in the world. I mean, the population of the bait is declining. So these baits, you have to follow the baits through these islands. So the bait might be over in Azores, might be Madeira. There's a bunch of islands there. There's Cape Verde.
Yeah.
They come up from Cape Verde, and then you go to Madeira, and then they go across to Azores. Then Canary Islands gets them. So it's just a limited concentration of bait that's moving through all these islands, and you got to follow those those fish.
Let me ask you this. I don't know. I haven't had the chance to ask Steve or Mr. Shea, but they don't pitch bait at all. They just pull lures, right?
Yeah, just pull lures.
What's the reason? What's the thought behind that?
Well, there's so much hours put into it. I mean, some serious hours. They just went to Brazil.
Oh yeah.
And you're talking about 14 days straight. Now, who wants to sit in the cockpit for 14 days?
Yeah.
You know, really, when you're pitching, you got to be in the cockpit. You have to be there all the time. You cannot leave that damn chair. So it's almost, I tell you what, when you're doing it a couple days, it's fine.
Yeah.
For 14 days, you know.
I got you.
And their hookup ratio is pretty good.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good. I mean, the only time they lost some fishes is that we were bringing it in and the wahoos just cut off the line. You know, the lure was hanging and the wahoos just come and cut them right off. But otherwise, their hookup ratio is really, really good. You know, Steve Lassley is one hell of a captain.
Yeah. He's a legend.
That crew they have, you know, is unreal. You know, one of the best crews I've seen.
Yeah, it's a crazy operation they got going on.
It is. And so they're going to Cape Verde. I'm going to go to Cape Verde. But I'm going to one of the most unbelievable trips in about 2 weeks. I am going to Abidjan, Africa.
Okay.
Abidjan, Africa is right by Ghana.
Okay. Yeah.
So a friend of mine, Stefan from Paris, has been asking me for 5 years. I said, Carey, you want to go? And I said, all right, one day I'll go. And I saw all the fish that he was catching. I mean, there were granders there. There was huge fish. And I go, all right, I'm going to go. So I was a little apprehensive because, first of all, you got to have your shots. You got to have your malaria, yellow fever. And you go into a place where it's not the safest place there is. But Stefan said, hey, you come because I've been going there 20 years. You come with me. Okay. I said, all right, I'm going. So I would you believe I FedEx my passport to Paris? I was like praying, like, oh my God. I got it back within a week. Get my visa stamped. I just got my yellow fever vaccine. No side effects. I'm fine. The only thing I'm worried about is the malaria pills. Now you can get malaria there. But anyway, spray up a bug spray. But I'm going for the biggest fish there is.
That's awesome, man. That's
what we fishermen do.
Yeah,
we'll go to any lengths to go catch fish.
Yeah, I mean, there's been 1 or 2 operations that have been to that area and near Ghana, right? Like I think can't remember a big mothership operation. I don't know if it was
Clay Hensley used to fish there a lot.
Yeah.
Clay's a legend, he's a really good friend of mine. And it's the same fish really, but my friend Stefan has his boat there in Abidjan for 20 years. So we're pretty much fishing in the same area.
Gotcha. Is there many boats that fish out of there or just him?
No. It's a lot of people don't go there.
Yeah.
I think it will be fine. Just that, people in their minds always thinking, oh, this is going to happen. I come from Jamaica. People always say, oh, it's not safe there. I go, hey, all my life I lived there. Not one thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Not one thing. You just got to be in the right place at the right, you got to be street smart.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go. Miami, it's the worst place. Palm Beach? Oh, there's which area I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So anyway, there's always bad areas. So just be street smart. That's all.
Have you talked to Anthony since Brazil?
Yes.
Because when they put the World Tour, it wasn't originally set to be there, right? They kind of changed.
No, he didn't really want to say where it was because security reasons and just wanted to make sure everything went well. And he just got back a couple days ago, and he said it was one of the best trips. I can't remember how many fish, probably about 18, 19 fish, but big fish. I mean, no grinders yet though.
Yeah.
But here's something really cool. When we were in Azores, the first day they caught a fish, Steve said, oh, 850. Let it go. Second day, oh, about 850. Let it go. So the third day, that one dies. It's the smaller one. And when they brought it in, it was 910 pounds.
Yeah.
So most likely, those are grand. Most likely.
I got you. So he called those other two 850, and they were smaller.
Well,
or
I'll tell you what,
bigger than
really
that one?
hardcore captains always underestimate.
Oh yeah,
They don't want anybody saying, "Oh no, he's full of bull," you know.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very hard to tell because really the belly on the fish is what matters. You know, if it's 1 or 2 inches bigger, you're talking about hundreds of pounds difference.
Yeah.
So you can't tell unless you pull that fish out and wait. Even the experts, you know, Zach Condy. I sent some friends a couple of years ago over to Azores. They catch a fish, and my friend Scott Nichols, this guy never caught a marlin in his life, and this is a huge fish. And Zach says, "Oh, it's 850." So they try to revive it for like half an hour because they really didn't want to kill it, and it wouldn't revive. And they brought it in. It was a grander.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's how it is, you know. It was
it's very difficult to tell in the water.
But really, I release them. I like to release. Okay, if I catch a grander, I'm going to release it. But if it's 1,200 pounds, it's coming into the boat. It's not good. You know, it's not breeding anymore. It's gonna die soon. So I'm bringing that thing in.
Yeah. What was the Azores like? How did it differentiate from Madeira?
Always my favorite was Madeira. Well, it still is. Azores unreal. I'm talking about the scenery itself on the island is amazing. It looks like New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Clean, good food, like I said, cheap. But the life that we saw there was incredible. I mean, there were giant bluefin tunas. We caught one by accident. They're big-eyed tunas. There's yellowfin tunas. They're all feeding in the same place. And even Steve said, I've never seen all those 3 feeding in one spot.
Yeah.
And the amount of birds and it was, I've never seen the life like. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff like Costa Rica and things like that, but I've never seen anything like that yet. It just life. And there's about several different types of whales. And you know, when there's several types of whales there, that means there's plentiful bait there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the map of Azores, it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Did Captain Steve like find it hard to find a place to fish with that much stuff going on? Like,
you know, the fishing was red hot at the time, but whenever we got a fish, it was big.
Yeah.
And really, that's the goal, really. You know, I'd tell you the truth, I would rather 1 big fish than 20 little fish.
I got you.
That's how spoiled we're getting now. You know? But it's a beautiful place. I mean, even the coastline was spectacular. You were never bored.
Yeah.
I was looking out at a coastline, and it was just beautiful.
Green, very green, right?
Oh yeah, picturesque, everything. And the weather was perfect. And sometimes it was like a lake.
Wow.
It was flat like a lake. Unbelievable. That is, it's not a secret, but I can tell you what, it's one of the best places I've fished.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll see what Abidjan is.
I'll be curious. I want to hear about that, man. I think that's going to be incredible. Hear about
another amazing thing. So right before I go to Abidjan, which is end of March here, I go with Anthony on his, he has a 144 Trinity.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting there for 3 years because he's been on his world tour. And I said to him, hey, you need to use that boat. So so we're gonna do a boys trip through the Bahamas and do a little bit of fishing and stuff like that. But we got to use that boat. So that boat was incredible too, because 2 years ago we went to Mag Bay, and we actually broke the record. I would say the world record.
Yeah.
First day we released 330 marlin, striped marlin. and in 4 days we got 900.
Wow.
So people always say, "Oh, that's bullshit." So well, we had IGFA rep on board, so we actually hooked more fish. But he'd say, "Well, no, this is good." He'd count everyone,
Yeah.
And it was 9 of us on the bow, and we really didn't go out there just to beat anybody. It was a fun trip, and it was live bait, and a lot of people tease us, "Oh, that's cheating," and everything.
Well, that's how they always
meant to
fish there. I mean, that's how the guys from Southern California started fishing there, years and years ago. I don't think it's necessarily anybody's prerogative to just show up and be like, "Y'all are doing this wrong,"
Yeah, everybody was like, "No, that's cheating." Oh, I said, "Hey, we didn't mean to catch 900 marlin."
Yeah.
So that was incredible. I mean, the fishery there is unbelievable. So Steve would run and look for the birds, and then we'd be on the bow with the baits ready. And when he hit that bait ball, as you cast, everybody's hooked up.
Yeah.
So people try to calculate, how did you catch 330 marlin? Says, well, some of the catches are 10, 15 seconds if you wind fast enough. So so they got a long leader, which is about 60-pound leader, and a short leader, which is probably 30, 40 pounds. So when you grab the heavy leader, it breaks off.
Yeah.
And then you got small circle hooks, so it's not going to do anything for the fish, it's going to rust out or whatever, So we released all of them, and it was an epic trip.
Nice.
I don't know if I wouldn't be that excited again. No, but I like to watch everything,
Yeah.
But, catching 900 marlin is
It's work.
Crazy.
It's work after the first 300, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about some of my art here now. So what I really do is I'm licensed with Columbia Sportswear. So about 3 years ago, I licensed with them, and they're selling all my clothing. We're in Bass Pro Shops, West Marine, Bell's. You Google Carey Chen and Columbia PFG. My clothing is all out there, and they're one of the greatest companies ever. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
Columbia PFG.
Yeah. Huge company.
And then I also made a deal with the Bush family, Anheuser-Busch. So Stephen Bush, who is the son of Augustine Bush, the original Anheuser-Busch. So of course, if you look it up, $57 billion whole company.
Yeah.
They don't need to go anything. But Stephen is a fisherman. Augie is a fisherman, and they just want to get back into the fishing world through liquor. So they decided to, partner with me, and we brand a vodka. It's called Hopetown Vodka.
Okay.
And Walker's Key Bourbon. And the reason why they named it after these Bahama Islands is that they're part of the proceeds are going to go to help the Bahamas because of all those hurricanes that destroyed them.
Yeah.
So when you buy one of those, you're giving some money back to the Bahamas. And it's really, I'm not saying because it's really top liquor. The Bush family don't mess around.
No.
Yeah, gotta try that. Hopetown Vodka, Walker's Key Bourbon.
That's awesome. Gonna have to give it a try. Cool.
So I license little things here and there,
Yeah. But all those connections are made through fishing, huh?
Yeah, and really, I get a lot of people wanting to do T-shirt designs. So while I'm traveling, I got my iPad. You wouldn't believe it. All the designs that I'm doing now are on iPad.
Yeah.
Digital is the top printing nowadays. It comes out so vivid, and so it's not as if I'm wasting any time. I'm traveling a lot, but I'm working. I'm doing stuff. So people give me a picture of their boat, and I'll put the fish in and put the lettering and everything. Send it to my printer. They get the shirts ready.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is. You can work on while you're traveling.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So I did so many tournaments when I was younger. Started with the Miami Billfish tournament, and I was part of the committees for a lot of them. Bob Lewis tournament, You weren't even born then. So, Miami Billfish tournament, Herman Lucerne tournaments, flats tournaments, offshore tournaments, sailfish tournament, all kinds. We actually started the Jimmy Johnson Billfish tournament, which is in Key Largo. We were the first to start that one. And then we had what else? We had and there's so many tournaments. I'm trying to remember. Well, I participated. Miami Dolphins, we did that for quite a while. I participated and helped out everybody because that was my business, tournaments. So I'd tell them what to do here and there and everything. We had the Scrub Island tournament. I ran that for myself. Fished a lot on the Unamas, which is Brooksmith. We won one year the Los Sueños tournament. But we fished many places together. That's another great fishing outfit, They'll be in Cape Verde this year.
Wow. It's going to get crowded there. The wave paver, the bad company, there's not going to be enough room.
The shoe
will be there, yeah.
The shoe was in Azores, and we met up with those guys, and I fished with them one day. Man, they're awesome guys. Let me tell you, they're really awesome, and they know what they're doing. And Don, I known Don Schumacher for a long time. And the funny thing is, when I knew him, all he wanted to fish was wahoo. That's all. I did a wahoo painting for him, and all of a sudden, bam, switched over to Marlin.
Yeah.
Big Marlin fisherman. It's crazy. So
yeah.
They got a new Spencer.
Yeah, saw that.
I think it's headed to Costa Rica or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're taking the current Spencer and taking that back to Cape Verde, and then the other one to the Pacific.
I think they sold it was a Viking.
Yeah.
Then they got the Spencer.
Yeah.
So Anthony has a 58 Spencer, which is really the perfect boat for those areas. And he redid the whole thing, and just amazing, outfitting that he's done. That's one person that is so dedicated to sport fishing. He's been so successful. Why not? Just do it. What you gonna do? Take it to the grave?
No, I think he's
just fish, and do what your heart tells you to do.
Yeah. I think it's cool what he's doing. I think it's incredible.
So I've been watching Bill now. Bill's look like he's doing good in Kenya, right?
Yeah, they had some good fishing. He's on a safari right now. I think the tournament is over. So I don't know if he's doing a little bit more fishing after the safari, but yeah, they had some okay fishing. It wasn't great, but I mean, it's still in Kenya trying a new place, and
it looks nice.
It looks beautiful. Yeah.
I think on the bucket list, where do you want to go?
Man, I don't know. Peru, Ecuador, down there.
Yes. I was supposed to go to Peru. Actually, no, the tournament is going on now. So
Brazil.
Here's the coolest thing. So my friend Juan he runs the tournament. He said that the government stopped the killing of billfish, and as soon as they did that, the billfish started to come back.
In Peru?
Yeah, Peru. So the last tournament they had was one of the better tournaments. They're building a marina there now. Right now, the boats are just parked out there, but I think that fishery is going to really come back hard.
Yeah.
So they're getting blacks, stripes, and blues there. They're not the big. Peru was known for that stuff, but if you look at the history of it, it got really overfished. Yeah. I just got back from Ecuador, so I've been doing that Salinas tournament for every year, and the last couple of years was really bad. I mean, the fishing, there's so much commercial fishermen out there. It's unreal.
The tuna capital of South America right there, right?
Yeah, so the government doesn't want to say, hey, you can't kill all these fish. You know what I'm talking about? So what happened is there's so much mahi they're killing. I go to the fish house, tens of thousands of mahis coming every single day. I don't know how the ocean can have that. Yeah. So this year I went, and I couldn't believe it. We hooked 3 fish over 500 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And the day that I stayed in, to paint, he hooked what he thought was a grander. So I said, wow, that's amazing. So for some reason, some of them are coming back.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good sign, I just hope they get stricter with all these things. I see a lot of bluefin tunas coming back in Florida now. Yeah, they're catching them on Palm Beach, Miami. People are sport fishing and they're catching them. That's a good. I lost you.
Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So there you go.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I got a line of paintings to do.
So you got me?
Yeah, you got your signal? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, we appreciate it, Carey. That was a good talking to you, man.
Yeah, good talking to you too.
No,
so I'll message Bill.
Yeah, he's
talking to you. And Uncle Bill, I want to call him Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
I want to say, hey, your grandson called your great grandson called you.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, take care.
Cool. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care. We'll see you soon.
All right, bye.